Hello, welcome to the Western Reserve Historical Society Research Center. I'm Paul Hyde. I'm the interim director of the Research Center here, and I'm going to show you around the library a little. We have our photograph collections. We have more than 4 million photographs in our collections. As we walk around this way, we have a number of map drawers. We have oversized pictures and portraits and other posters and broadsides and other large-scale materials, such as these Prohibition posters we have here, which are quite neat. If we walk back over here, we can see our mark file collection, which is a collection of materials including sales brochures, advertisements, photographs, and other materials produced by car companies on different makes of their cars. So as you can see, there's Cadillac, Buick, we have Baker here. So it mostly includes sales brochures and also manuals. So if somebody is working on a car, a classic car, we probably have the manual to help you fix it. We also have pamphlet collections and more photograph collections, including our Cleveland picture file, which is in these cabinets here, which we are working on digitizing at the moment. And in the background here we have pretty much throughout the floor really, our book collections, which include some of our strengths of our book collection include local histories and other genealogical materials. We have a lot on Ohio and Northeast Ohio, as well as New England and some of the other eastern states. We have Civil War. That's one of our big focuses. So you saw Abraham Lincoln there, and we have anti-slavery materials as well, and other collections such as 19th century American religion, like the Shaker collection that we have. So now we're going to go downstairs and take you to our reference room so that you can see the public spaces of our operations. Doors. Here is our reading room. So when we have visitors come to do research, they come and check in at the reference desk here, and when they put in a request for materials, the reference staff would go up and retrieve those materials, and we have tables out here where our researchers do their research, and we have some open stacks here, mostly family histories and other genealogy materials. All right, so we're heading out of the library now, and we are now in the Rheinberger, and we have the Chief Wahoo that used to be at Municipal Stadium, as well as the mural that was at the Great Lakes Exposition. And here we have the construction that's going on.
All right, welcome to the construction space for the new Upper Crawford Galleries. My name is Derek Moore. I'm the Crawford Curator of Transportation History here at Western Reserve Historical Society. I'll take you on a quick tour. Behind me here is a new space. It's going to be a community gallery. Small community exhibits are going to be in there. Off to the left is a community conference room for small gatherings for some of the community meetings and things that take place. Then as we look ahead of us here into the large exhibit kind of space that we have, this area is going to be dedicated to looking at the auto industry in the Western Reserve, including people like Alexander Winton and the Winton Motor Carriage Company. Some of the earliest vehicles that were built here in the Western Reserve are going to be on display up here in the front space. Then over there along the rotunda, we're going to take a look at the Chandler Cleveland Company, which was a car company here in Cleveland, Ohio. Here, kind of right in the center, we're going to look at the Peerless Corporation. The 32 Peerless, which is the highlight of the collection, is going to go here on this wall, which is actually the exterior wall of our new approximately 100-seat auditorium. And then continuing down the wall here, we're going to have the Baker Electric Company. Off in this corner, the White Motor Car Corporation. Interesting story of steam to internal combustion vehicles. Along the back wall, we're going to discuss the National Air Races. We're going to have our 1932 Waddell Williams, our Howard DGA 3, and our second fiddle P-51 Mustang in this area. On the rotunda, we're going to have take a look at the Euclid Beach Amusement Park as well as the Great Lakes Exposition. The reason we're going to look at the Euclid Beach Amusement Park is because right behind us here is going to be the Euclid Beach Carousel. That'll be opening late 2013, early 2014. This space here will be dedicated to the first plane that was owned here in Cleveland, known as Bumblebee. It's a 1910 Curtiss Pusher that was owned by a gentleman named Al Engel. And then through the window there, you can see our gift shop space. On the wall of the gift shop here, we're going to have a map wall showing where the automobile companies were located in the Western Reserve, as well as where things like the National Air Races took place, Euclid Beach was located, all those kind of leisure activities that you would go out and attend with your family. And then in the large space up here, which we usually refer to as the East Boulevard Lobby, we're going to take a look at entrepreneurs of this area, people like Fred Crawford, John D. Rockefeller, Theodore Kuntz, Garrett Morgan, some of the early entrepreneurs in this area that really helped it to grow. And if you go around what you normally could walk through here, you'll go into the rest of the History Center and take a look at the two historic homes that we have on site.
Hi, my name's Dean Zimmerman. I'm the Curator of History and Material Culture here at the Western Reserve Historical Society. And as you leave the Crawford Galleries, you enter the first of two early 20th century townhouses that are comprise the core of the Western Reserve Historical Society buildings. We're walking through the entrance hall of the 1917 Hannah Bingham House. And these galleries that we're going to be seeing are presented in a way very much like when the house was occupied up until about 1935. Versions that you see are largely original to the house. And on my right, we have two cabinets of recent gifts to the Historical Society. We've been collecting for over 140 years, and our collections are the strength of our institution. One of the most delightful spaces, I think, is this, the breakfast room. It's done with ironwork that was made by Samuel Young, and the decorative tiles that you see on the floor are from the Mercer Museum, the Moravian Pottery, and the entire room is decorated with a faux fresco. Take a look out in the gardens briefly. They appear much as they appeared in the early 20th century when they were designed by Frederick Law Olmsted's office, he being the same landscape architect who did Central Park. Passing through the breakfast room, we enter the Chisholm Halley costume wing. This is a rotating gallery where we have just recently installed an exhibition of Cleveland wedding traditions. And it dates from 1830, which we see at the entrance, to about 1980. And by decade, we represent Cleveland brides and bridal wear. And what's remarkable about this collection and our entire costume collection, which holds about 12,000 hanging garments, is these are associated with Clevelanders, Western Reserve. We know who wore them. We know that they were used in the Western Reserve, so very history specific to the Cleveland area. Now, what's really fun about our costume collection as well is it's not just bridal wear. We go into trousseau and the accompanying materials that brides might enjoy, including underwear.
Some people were doing bird seed and they're like, no, we don't want that either.
Passing through a gallery that recognizes our Italian-American archives, we've recently collected the Carabelli archives. They were stone carvers responsible for much of the stonework in Lakeview Cemetery. And that's combined with a contemporary Italian descent, Italian heritage artist, sculptor. We enter the Norton Gallery, where we have two exhibitions, one of playhouses, of dollhouses. This room serves as a community meeting room and lecture hall. The second exhibition, curated by my colleague Ed Hershey, will tell you a bit about that.
This is a new digital gallery here in the Norton, and their first exhibit is Shattered Dreams. These are photographs of Cleveland's deindustrialization and rebirth done by a local photographer, Lauren Puccini. But more importantly, this is our first try at using what we call media cabinets, which will allow us to switch out a topic relatively quickly and turn this gallery over in terms of its topical coverage just in a matter of a couple of days rather than a week or two that would normally take us to turn the gallery over. This is our first try at that. We think it's going to be an excellent addition to our set of galleries that we've put exhibits in here at the Historical Society. This is the central lobby, which is now open and kind of one of the front doors to the Historical Society. The horses that are on display are from the Euclid Beach Carousel, which is being restored and would be put in the new addition, the new Carousel Pavilion, which is being built right now. That building will be finished at the end of 2012. The carousel itself will be finished probably about 2013, so we're looking forward to opening that up. That'll be a carousel that everybody can ride on. So that's going to be a great new addition to the Western Reserve Historical Society experience. The gallery you're walking into has our newest exhibit called East versus West, and this looks at the cultural and geological divide that Cleveland experiences, people living on the east side, people living on the west side, and looks at it from the aspect of maps from our collection. And these are wonderful maps, very visually exciting and important parts of the Western Reserve Historical Society archives. So we're really excited to be able to get these out and show them to people, really for the first time in a long time. And we're doing that both with the original maps and in some cases reproductions when the original was difficult to display or too expensive to display, and also using some modern electronic technology as part of that interpretation. As we move along, we're going to go to a small gallery where Cleo, our electronic curator, she's an artificially intelligent artifact interpreter, and you can walk up to Cleo and can put an artifact on her scanner, and she'll be able to interpret that artifact for you. I can do a quick demo of that. Here we have an unusual piece of metal, and we put it here.
Hello. Glad you've selected an unusual artifact that has some interesting connections.
And we could stand here for the next 15-20 minutes, and Cleo would lead us to an interpretation of the artifact. This idea of replacing live human beings in galleries in a way that would emulate the interaction between a curator who knows something and the visitor. The gallery that we're walking back through that has the maps in it will host another exhibit sometime next spring or early summer, and we're looking at, in the way that we've done this exhibit, drawing from our rich map collection. We're going to draw from our rich photograph collection and look at images of Cleveland over time. So it'll be a nice follow-up and complement to the map exhibit. And walking back through the central lobby, not only the horses are here, but we have key artifacts from our collections, particularly the portrait of Lincoln that's on the wall here. That was restored with a private donor allowed us to restore that painting when we had the Lincoln exhibit here in 2009. And we're going into kids' exhibits.
And in kids' exhibits, we have two primary areas. One is our backyard of history intended for preschool-age children. And in that, we have a children's play garden as well as a house. And we're heading to Building My Town, and also we like to dress where children can dress up and also look at pictures from our collections of children from different ages and different collections from the Historical Society's Archives Library. Along with that, we have a West Side Market area called We All Shop for Food, where students can sort out and see some of the types of products that are available at one of Cleveland's premier institutions. Besides the backyard of history, we also have the time and play space, which is intended for grades 1 through 5, where we have different sections about how we eat and different kitchen products, how we dress, and it's a timeline of different clothing styles from over the years, how we build, which is a look at different houses and housing materials. And we also have a map called What Our Town Looks Like, where it's an 1896 map with different buildings from Cleveland that students can set out and arrange on the grid where different buildings are located throughout Cleveland. And we also have how we travel, that looks at the distances and how long it would take and how fast travel would take as we go through the Western Reserve, from walking to horses to bicycles in the horseless carriage. Right now we are working on our newest edition of the Kids Exhibits, which is based on a series of dioramas that were donated to the Historical Society many years ago that used to be located in the Hay home basement that are, of course, you can see Emily, one of our educators, painting and installing the buildings. And we also have our Big Boy, one of the attractions from one of the Big Boy restaurant locations from Northeast Iowa.
Hi, Dean Zimmerman again. We'll be entering the second of the historic houses and pass through the Hall of Glass, which showcases our collection of locally made artistic glass and Ohio art pottery. And now we are entering the Hay House, built in 1911, and is presented to the public in really two ways. First, as selected rooms, such as the reception hall, are period-correct rooms that interpret the house to the early 20th century. But the other galleries are period rooms that show the art and interiors of Cleveland from the early 1800s up through the early 20th century. This is the Empire Parlor, showing interiors from 1825 to about 1850. And here, the Wade Parlor with period furnishings from the Jephthah and Randall Wade house on Millionaires Row. Jephthah Wade was an artist who turned to an interest in telegraph and made the right choice. We have works in our collection by him. He wasn't untalented, but he went on to found what would become the Western Union Telegraph, and has been engaged in philanthropy, continuing through his family for several generations. We present our collections to the public as history, as art, as decorative arts. The dining room appears as it would have in the early 20th century. And one of our public's most interesting areas are the servants' areas. Here you see the butler's pantry, where food would have been plated before it was taken into the dining room. Look through the pass-through into the kitchen. White sanitary tiles, foodstuffs. The servants' passageway. The windows are high so that the servants could not see out into the garden, the family spaces, and as well, the family could not see servants. We're back in the reception hall of the Hay House and are ascending the stairway that was carved by this man, John Perkimer, using these tools. And what's interesting is this stairway dates about 30 years earlier than the house. This is John Hay, who commissioned her architect, Abram Garfield, to use elements of her Euclid Avenue house, which have been incorporated into this house. You get a wonderful view of the ongoing restoration of the gardens. And when we come to the top of the stairs, have an exhibition of decorative arts from Cleveland from the early 20th century. Cleveland was a hotbed of arts and crafts movement with works by Horace Potter on my right, works by Guy Cowan over here from Cowan Pottery, and period furnishings from the Romer Brooks Studios. A highlight of the collection is this Art Nouveau bronze table, which was made by Martin Rose, the founder of the Rose Iron Works, about 1905, 1910.